How are all you fine people doing today? I'm doing lovely because apparently the PlayStation CEO said the PlayStation 6 is now top of mind. You know, I could sit here and be like, oh, how dare Sony do this and blah blah blah, but you know what, in all reality, I think people forgot this somehow, but Sony has already talked about this, like when the PS5 first came out, even, you know what I mean? Like they said that the PS6 would come out around 2026 or 2027, so this should be like no shock to everybody. I'm surprised no one is talking about that, but yeah, that did happen. So it's like no, there wasn't just a possibility or something. No, they straight up said it was going to come around 2026 or 2027. I guess they kind of knew that consoles were just gonna, you know, kind of be a small upgrade to each other, so they're like, yeah, it's gonna come at this time. Get hyped, I guess. But in all reality, though, I could definitely see why people are kind of upset about this or confused about this. I completely understand why. Let me try to put it in perspective for you guys. You know how the PS3 was a system that lasted for as long as it did, like 2026 till like 2013, right? And then even a little bit after that. But let's just say when the PS4 came out, which was in 2013, right? So when the PS3 came out and then the PS4 came out, you kind of saw some games that were like, you know what? Wow, this definitely cannot be handled on the PS3. You started seeing them more so in 2014 and 2015 with like stuff like Batman Arkham Knight, like even Mortal Kombat 10 too, with the amazing detail of that game with the fatalities, which, let's be honest, that was kind of the point. That was mostly the point as to why people bought them. But you guys are starting to understand my point a little bit, right? When it came to the PS3 to the PS4, there were some clear differences that the PS3 couldn't handle, and like it was showing its age, right? And that goes for all the 7th generation consoles. Hell, that's why the Wii U wasn't really supported that much, is because it like compared to the competition like the PS4 and Xbox One, which by the way weren't really that powerful when they came out. Even the Wii U was showing its age because it was more so inclined, or more so in the power of the PS3 and 360. So, of course, this isn't really a shock when, we're over here scratching our heads about the PS4 versus the PS5. Because the PS5 didn't really feel like it did anything that amazing, to really warrant upgrading to it still, because there are games that are still coming to the PS4, for the love of God. I mean, Jesus, dude. They don't even have the goal or the decency to make PS5 experiences. I'm not saying, oh, keep it off PS4 for the sake of, keeping it, like making it look next gen. No, I wanted to actually feel next gen, and that's the sentiment that people had. So that's why they're confused about, what do you mean there's a PS6 coming out? What? We barely even know what the PS5 is capable of. Well, I guess for the people who got the PS5 Pro, you must feel really stupid right now. Anyways, let's just get down to business, shall we? If you're over the age of 20, it's time to get a PC. I couldn't agree more. I mean, for the love of God, what is it gonna take for people to honestly realize that PC is just the best way to go? I mean, for the love of God, they're upcharging you out the ass for consoles that's been out for 5 years already, and not only that, not only are they charging you more for the hardware nowadays, but they're even charging you more for the online, something that should be free. On top of that, they're even saying stuff like, oh, well, now this next system, compared to the previous system that we didn't do anything with, is now on top of the mind. What do you mean on top of the mind? You barely did anything with the last one. I mean, damn, if you're gonna raise the prices in the PS5 days, just imagine what they're gonna do in the PS6 days. I can't even imagine. I don't want to imagine. It's gonna be scary. PS5 has been out for less than 5 years, and now they want to drop a PS6. Yup, see, that's another thing that Sony is kind of neglecting here, is that you're kind of ruining your console ecosystem in the long run. You really are. I mean, all of them are. Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, whatever, right? But the thing is that, like, Sony, with this announcement, they did it even more over here, right? Because here's the thing, though. When they had that like announcement that the PS6 was gonna be out, or you know, they're gonna release it in 2026 or 2027. The funny thing is that I was even like, yeah, what's the big deal? You know, it's just gonna be like every other console lifespan, like 6 to 7 years. Who cares? That's because like that was under the assumption, right, that Sony was going to release something. Anyone was going to release something that actually took advantage of the PS5 hardware, but none of them did. I mean, and the only one that's going to do that is what, the GTA 6? Really? That's it? I mean, come on, man. Even all of Sony's games, for God's sakes, is on the PS4. So it's like, what do you guys didn't even do anything with the PS5 to do anything with the PS6. And I kind of feel like over time, that's going to move more and more people to the PC. Sony hasn't even given a reason to upgrade from PS4 to a PS5. And now they're already prioritizing the next. The PS5 only has one game that wasn't already on PS4, that being Astrobot. The funny thing is that game should have been on the PS4. Not only that, but you know, there are a few other games too that are on the PS5 but not on the PS4, like the Ratchet and Clank, which should have been on the PS4, but you know, they wanted to emphasize how amazing that SSD was. How did that work out? But seriously though, how many people from the PS5 do you really think are going to upgrade to the PS6? Because me personally, I don't think it's going to be a lot. Like, I honestly feel like there's going to be less and less people on the PlayStation consoles. And you know what? That's no one's fault but Sony's. You are the one that did not put value onto these consoles, right? And like, I mean, honestly, that's everyone's fault, not just Sony's. But you know, that's your fault for not putting value into the system. That's really your fault. You're the one who didn't make enough games to warrant purchasing a PS6. But it's not only the games too. The PS6 in general is a money hog, dude. You have to pay even more for your online than you did in the PS4 days. What kind of ridiculous shit is that? And you shouldn't even pay anything. This is actually highway robbery. They're like, dude, when it comes to a game, they're not paying for the servers. They're not paying for the development or anything like that. So it's like, why on earth are you charging for something that you have no business in charging? We're already paying the internet bill. Why the hell should we pay you to access a feature on a piece of hardware that we already bought? I mean, the PS3's online was free. Why the hell was a PS4 and 5's not? Also, I cannot imagine what kind of price increases for not only PSN, but the PS6 that's gonna happen. I don't even know how much the PS6 is gonna be. But I imagine, like, at the very least, it's gonna be a little bit more expensive than the PS5 Pro, right? So, I can only imagine how expensive the you know, PlayStation Network is gonna be, or, you know, the PlayStation Plus, obviously. Whatever it's gonna be, I can only imagine the price increases from there. It's gonna be scary. The PS6 will blow minds. I mean, he's probably right. It's probably gonna blow people's minds on what Sony thinks they could get away with in terms of pricing. Seriously, if you're this excited about what possibilities the PS6 will bring, you're honestly more brain dead than any PlayStation fanboy I've ever seen in my life. PS5 barely had any proper momentum. Wow, that was short, sweet, and to the point, and very true. I agree with that. I mean, the PS5 really didn't have that much momentum. I mean, I would even argue that it's Sony's worst console. Seriously, even worse than the PS4. You know how I know that? Because it started getting me to miss the PS4 days. Seriously, I don't even like the PS4 that much. Relax, dude, like 50% of the people haven't even got a PS5 yet. Hey, you shut up and go back to the corner. Sony needs to sell as much pointless and shitty hardware as possible, okay? They need to sell you the PlayStation Portal instead of a traditional handheld because... shut up. And they need to sell you a VR2 even though the VR1 didn't do that well because... shut up. Seriously, it is amazing to me how they will do everything in their power to give us as much garbage slop hardware as possible, even going so far as to, you know, bring the PS6 into light and saying that they're going to be focusing on that, while also preventing everything in their power to stay away from making a PS Vita 2. Isn't that hilarious? After the PS5 fiasco, I'm done with Sony. Yes, finally. Someone finally gets it. Oh my god, I mean, I was disappointed with Sony in the PS4 days, but you know what? Better late than never, man. Good job. Come to the PC, you will not regret it. Leave that garbage PlayStation ecosystem behind, bro, and don't look back. Alright, so we are on the last one, homeboys. So PS6 will be coming 2026 or 2027, and it'll cost more than $600. Well, it's gonna cost $600 for the version that doesn't have a disc drive, doesn't come with a controller, doesn't come with any power cords. Yeah, that'll probably cost you about $600. I mean, with the way that Sony has been pricing their recent PlayStation garbage, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they're gonna have a $1,000 version that has the stuff that it should actually come with. And you still might not even get a stand with it. Alright guys, I'm going to wrap up the video there, but before I do, I'd just like to thank you guys so much for us almost reaching 200 subscribers. I can't wait to get to that milestone, and, you know, I can't wait to make this into, you know, a way to get money so that I can put more effort and more time into these videos for you lovely people. So please, by all means, like, share, comment, do all that good stuff. You guys really do help when you do that. Also, if you do want to help a homie out, I do have a buy me a coffee, you know, that would really help me out as well. Seriously, every penny counts. I would really appreciate it. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.